Hi, everyone. We are back for our next session. I don't know about you guys, but I am obsessed with that last Instagram session. The panel was amazing. Our team was amazing. I always learn new things. Every session was great, but I'm high off the Instagram. So today, this session, we are going to transition, maybe get a little geekier and talk about LinkedIn. So I really want to say I'm obsessed with Instagram too. I'm obsessed with, I love Clubhouse. I like a lot of things, but one thing I can tell you for sure about LinkedIn is when someone Googles your name, maybe not your company name, but your own name, it is very likely that your LinkedIn profile is going to show up. And so, again, just to do a quick reset, I feel like I'm on Clubhouse, resetting the room. I'm Julie Roth-Novak, the CEO and co-founder of PartySlate. I am here with our amazing editor, Pamela. And the name of this section is LinkedIn kind of 2.0, the power of digital networking. And not to overwhelm you that you have to do everything today, but I'm going to give you a little homework assignment. And it's very, very easy and an action plan on the simplest things you can do on LinkedIn just to elevate your brand. I would love to know where people are calling in from. If you can go to the chat right on the right side of your screen and just tell us where you're calling in from. I'm going to take a lot of questions. If anyone has geeky LinkedIn questions, we can go through that. But I'm really excited to just talk about some of the basics of LinkedIn marketing. LinkedIn, I know, believe it or not, is no longer just for people looking for jobs. Okay, if you're on LinkedIn, you're looking for a job. It is a business network. And those business people also get married, also have bar mitzvahs, likely the parents, also do corporate events. These people are your target customers. So I'm going to talk about simple ways to layer in LinkedIn marketing. So Pamela, I'm going to share my screen. And again, for those of you, we have a bunch of new people in this session. Not everyone can join the whole day. Just to give you context, at the end, I am going to give a little PartySlate profile review and talk about how things are a little bit similar but different from LinkedIn. PartySlate takes a similar approach in really providing rich content on your profile page that is very, very good for search engine optimization. It's also a great sales tool. So I'm going to compare the two at the end for those of you who are newer to PartySlate. So I'm going to just jump right in because we have a lot to cover. And Pamela, you can take questions from anyone along the way. Just cut me off because I could talk all day on LinkedIn. So
I know we all need to hear it.
Okay.
We started doing these kinds of sessions when COVID hit, and LinkedIn was one of our first ones, the 1.0, I guess.
Yes.
And I will never forget that you called me a LinkedIn loser.
Yeah,
and so I took your tips and I turned it around. And so I'm proud of my LinkedIn.
As the editor of PartySlate, Pamela, you cannot be a LinkedIn loser.
No, I can't.
So we'll talk about what a LinkedIn loser is, but it's basically someone that has less than 500 contacts. It's basically someone that's not active, because if you're active on on LinkedIn, within a matter of weeks, you can get your contacts up to 500. It's very, very easy.
It's so easy. I mean, those tips were so helpful. So the 2.0, I'm here for it.
I'm back with 2.0 and a little refresher in 1.0. So again, I'm going to talk about optimizing your LinkedIn profile. I'm going to talk about how you can grow your network and share content. And again, I don't want to overwhelm you that you have to be posting every day on LinkedIn. I'm going to show you some simple tips on how you can build your LinkedIn presence and see what works for you. And then I will have a LinkedIn action plan at the end. So each of our sessions, we try to end with 3 simple steps. And please know that all these things in Digital Day, you don't have to do them in 1 month. Maybe you decide, in August, you're going to focus on LinkedIn. I will give you 1 hour homework before that time, but you don't have to do everything all in one day. So let's get started. So first of all, the core of LinkedIn is the personal profile page. Yes, you can have a company page too. So PartySlate does have a profile on LinkedIn, but the core of sharing and connections really happen with the personal profile page. And so I'm going to really go through some of the high level best practices, and then I'm going to actually share my screen and go through a couple of real examples on my profile page. So number 1, you want to have a professional headshot. I know this industry. You all have photographer friends. You go to these events. Get a headshot that's professional. A great headshot really can give you up to 14 more times views because it's more engaging. The profiles that don't have a photo, again, people connect with people and they want to see who they're talking to or who they're meeting at Starbucks. If it's an interview, are just not as dynamic, and it looks kind of like a dead profile. So it's really important. Number two, many people don't know you could include a professional headline. I'm going to show you what that looks like. It's almost like your elevator pitch as to who you are. It's right underneath your name. The about section, a lot of people just leave that off and just put their experience. The about section, just like the about section on your profile page on PartySlate on your website, people want to know who you are, what you do, a little bit about your founding story. And I always tell people to write that in first person. Featured content. Even if you don't post a lot, it is nice to have a couple posts so that your page looks full and that you're sharing articles or you're sharing photos, that you do have a full profile. It's not like Instagram where you have to have 100 photos. Even a little bit of content makes your profile look full. And then I'm going to show you my experience and the level of detail that I put there, because sometimes people get lazy and they just put the company name and the years, but a lot of people don't know what these companies are or what you did. And so if you only had your own company for your whole career, you should write a good full paragraph about what your company is, not just a headline. And then accomplishments and affiliations I'm going to share right now. So Pamela, tell me when you can see my screen.
Okay,
so
sure.
I can start walking through what a fully built out LinkedIn profile looks like. And mine is loading. Hold on one second.
It is still loading. That's
Okay.
all right.
All right, it's coming. Now this is where you have to fill the space, Pamela, and or something.
No pressure.
Okay, but while this is sharing with you, when you look at your profile page, just imagine, like, again, let's say you've been referred to someone and you're going to have a first meeting or a first Zoom with them. They may go to this. Yes, they'll go to Instagram, maybe they'll go to Facebook, but they may go to this because it's going to come up on your first Google search of your name.
Right.
So can you see my page now, Pamela?
I cannot see it, no.
Okay, so I'm going to go back and just make sure that I am fully sharing my screen. So I'm going to stop.
I will share this while you're trying to get that to come up, that I did read in like LinkedIn stats and best practices that if you have a complete profile page, you can expect 5 times more views than if you've only done sections of it. So all these parts that Julie's talking about all help make it a complete profile.
Absolutely. So can you see my page now?
I can now.
Okay, great. So just looking at my LinkedIn profile, number one, I have a professional headshot. You can change it from time to time. Number two, this cover photo, I don't suggest putting your company name there. I suggest putting some sort of imagery. It can be a design. It could be one of your events. I just happened to choose our 4-year PartySlate anniversary in New York because I just thought it was a really fun photo with the PartySlate branding. As you go down on the page, you want to have your headline or your title, but this is where you can put your professional headline. It's just one sentence. Think of it like an Instagram bio. I just put for mine, helping event professionals build their brand, share their work, and grow their business. So it's just as simple. It's more of a B2B, business to business tagline. And you'll see here that I have over 500 connections. So I'm not a LinkedIn loser. That's just a joke, by the way. You're not if you have less. You have plenty of time to build your.
It's not going anywhere.
Yeah, to build your connections. And then your about section, I really recommend writing in the first person. Again, this isn't a company profile, it's a personal profile. So, just again, I'm the CEO and co-founder of PartySlate. I explain what PartySlate is. Before starting PartySlate, I have over 20 years of digital agency work. I'm getting my credibility out there. Today, it's actually 15,000 of the world's top event professionals share their work on PartySlate. So it's a very personal about. It's not like a sterile bio that you would just copy and paste from something. So this is, again, you should have this on your website too, but this is a great place to tell your story.
And it's not a resume because, you do have those things later. So I appreciate how those are different. Like that one sentence, you started it off with a verb, like very strong, all in present tense. And then before you went into that longer description.
absolutely. And then your featured content is just showing that you've been, again, sharing content. So some of the things I've shared on LinkedIn are here. You can also pin things. I have not pinned anything, so it's the most recent. But again, this is just a place that stores content that you have shared. This is, again, I'm logged in here, so you can see, and again, I don't even know what the time period is, but 787 people have viewed my profile, 116 page views. So again, you can actually get some good insights, like, are people seeing you? Activity, it shows that that some of the last things that I've posted, if I've commented on someone's stuff, people, you can see where my activities. Again, this is similar to Facebook. Again,
Julie, how often do you post? You were showing us your post. How frequently? Does it matter?
I try to post at least once a week. And that just, sometimes it's more if there's a lot going on, but you can see here, I posted about Digital Day, and I tagged all of our partners. I tagged about our digital event series. Honestly, if you could do it once a week, if you can do it more power to you, because I'm going to talk about this later. Only 1% of LinkedIn users post any content, versus Instagram, it's probably, I don't even know what it is, 90%. And so because only 1% post on LinkedIn, there's a lot of organic reach, meaning things you don't have to pay for to get exposure. So more and more people are learning about LinkedIn and kind of this free exposure. And so it's just something to think about. When you post an event on PartySlate, share it on LinkedIn as well and see what happens for you. It's just a great way to get additional exposure.
Just to validate your response, I just read that if you post just once a week on LinkedIn, you get double the amount of exposure and engagement just from having that frequency of posts. So
yeah. So again, because there's so few people that post, it's kind of like a newer thing. Like, you did think of LinkedIn as people looking for jobs. That's kind of what it was before, and people sharing their resume and things like that. They really moved to be more like a news and update and kind of Facebook feed a couple years ago, maybe it was 3 or 4 years ago, and they're still trying to build that piece of the business. So you will get more exposure. So let me keep going through the profile page, and then we'll go back to the presentation. Yeah. The other area that I feel like a lot of people miss on is they'll just put the name of their company and the years versus a little description of what that company is or your experience there. And so not everyone knows what Vibes Media is. It's a mobile marketing SaaS company. And so it's important to show, hey, I have mobile experience, I have digital experience, I've worked with some of the biggest brands in the world. This is a great credibility builder. So if you only had your own company the whole time, that's fine. Just put a little paragraph about your company so it doesn't look empty. And then as I scroll down here, it's a great place to add, education, volunteer experience. If you're helping any nonprofits, it's just another reason why people can connect with you. And then also, this is, we just add testimonials to PartySlate. This is an easy way to get skills and endorsements. So people can endorse you, you can endorse them. It's very easy just to click on the button. Again, these are kind of extra credit things, but easy things that you can add. And you can also get recommendations, and you can have your accomplishments here. So I think the most important piece is just filling out the top part of the profile, is having a really strong, image, professional headline, about section, and then making sure that you have your experience fully built out. If that's all you do, and I promise you, you can do that in like less than an hour, I really feel strongly that you can help build your brand. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and we'll go back to it in a second. But I just want to know, is there any questions, Pamela, before I go on to the next section?
We don't have any questions yet, but we do have a reminder, and you kind of touched on this about, Eugene reminds us about using SEO, making sure that you use those words in that professional headline and that about section to lead people to your LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, and again, thinking holistically about being a great content marketer, repeating those keywords. I'm going to talk about hashtags in a second. everyone, including Google, that's searching LinkedIn are looking for cues on how to find that right person. But the most important thing is LinkedIn does such a good job at SEO because there's so much rich content on this page that just making sure it looks full when someone searches on your proper name, your name, Julie Novak, Julie Roth Novak, whatever, Julie PartySlate, whatever it is, that this page looks complete. When you don't have a photo, when you have less than 500, when you don't have your professional headline or about, it looks like kind of an empty page. And they might only spend like 4 seconds on this page or 5 seconds. It's not like a long engagement, but you want it to be as professional and as dynamic as you are.
So we do have a question, Julie, about like when you're talking, and Lauren did a great job answering it, but in case you have something to add, that what if you have more than one niche? What if you're doing more than one thing? How do you approach that with your LinkedIn profile?
Well, hopefully I'll answer it the same way as Lauren. I think if let's say you're a corporate planner, but you also do weddings and mitzvahs and galas, this is a place to tell your holistic story. And you just want to make sure that in your about section, you kind of connect it all together. I know many people that do corporate want to keep weddings completely separate. I don't think that's necessarily the best thing to do. I think this is your personal brand, this is your personal page, it's not your company page. I think it's important to tell your full story of all the events that you do. If you have two completely separate businesses, so let's say you do balloons and you're an AV company, which I don't see that often. It is a little trickier to have like a major and a minor. So you may want to decide, like, is your balloons thing just a side thing you're doing for fun that was during the pandemic, but your AV company, again, I'm totally making this up, is the more important. So your LinkedIn has to reflect your business strategy. And so whatever your business strategy on the things you want to be known for, that's what should be on your LinkedIn. What did Lauren say?
She said, use your about section to be very clear and speak to both. And I'll build on what you just said about earlier about how if you mainly do corporate, but you also can do some social, that in that about section where you're speaking in first person, it's an opportunity to tell how that corporate experience makes you really good at social events, because the branding that you've learned can make an event feel really personal and very special. Or, the other direction, if you usually do weddings and corporate is the side to say that weddings have taught you about making it heartfelt and good storytelling and all these other things. So, you don't have to shy away from discussing both and maybe how they work together and make you better at both.
Yeah. And I have talked to people that have like a day job that are sales, and then a weekend they are an event planner. You have to pick what your story is on LinkedIn. So you may not want people to know that you're moonlighting as an event planner. In that case, it really needs to be a profile about your business, your core business and who you are. So most people we talk to are full-time event professionals. They may have multiple things they do, but they're really, full-time in the industry. And so in that case, we have found, again, part of PartySlate's differentiator is that people planning corporate do look at mitzvahs and do look at galas, and people planning weddings look at kids events. Like, people can get inspired from anywhere. So I don't think you need to separate the brands. And also, it's really expensive to build multiple brands and difficult to manage. So I know people have done it before where they have like a premium brand and maybe a secondary brand. I like how Colin Cowie has kind of Colin Cowie. I can't remember what his top kind of
lifestyle.
Yeah, lifestyle, where he's working on it. And then he has his teams do weddings. So there's different ways you can segment, but just remember, like, whatever your business and brand strategy, that's what should be reflected on LinkedIn. So that's a very good question. Hopefully I answered it. If not, please ask me. Okay, good. So the next thing is, people might say, oh God, I already posted on Instagram. I'm posting on PartySlate. Hopefully our team is helping you. But posting on LinkedIn has this added advantage that there's over 250 million monthly active users, which is insane around the world, but only 1% are posting on a regular basis. And so right now, this might close in the next 2 years or 3 years. Right now, there's an incredible opportunity, kind of like TikTok and Instagram Reels, to get this boosted reach because LinkedIn wants people to post. And so what I say is try, let's say you post an amazing event on your PartySlate profile, you can copy and paste that into LinkedIn, put something great, tag your vendors, and see if you get some activity. Some of the things that I've found are the most engaging are when you tell like a relatable story, when you have lessons learned. I mean, the best person at this is Gary Vee, who I'm obsessed with. Maybe you guys don't know him because it's mainly like teenage boys like 18 to 25 that love Gary Vee. But Gary Vee is one of the best content marketers in the world. And he posts these things that drive you to respond or drive you to share. They're thought-provoking, they're open-ended questions. So try doing things that get people to want to comment, because if they comment, you're going to get more views of that post. That's how all the algorithms work. Just like on PartySlate, when people save things more, people more profiles, you get more. Oh, someone said they love Gary Vee, so that made me feel better.
I know.
He's
I
Google
that.
If you don't know who Gary Vee is, it's Vanderchuck. You got to Google him. The next thing is consider native content to boost engagement. And so I am going to share my screen again, just because I don't want people to be confused about what I'm talking about here. So I'm going to share my screen and actually show what I mean by native content. So Pamela, tell me, I know there's a little bit of a delay.
I'll tell you when it shows up.
Okay.
So just to tag on as we go into this, that I did see that content creation on LinkedIn is way up by 60% last year, maybe because we all had a little more time on our hands.
Yes.
But it's a really easy process. Even I can do it. Yes. And I don't consider myself to be a super user of LinkedIn, but even I can create something from scratch. Okay, you are on now.
Okay, great. So now that you can see my screen, I just want to show you and kind of prove to you that it's not just people looking for a job. So Bill Hansen, who's a venue and amazing caterer that's part of the PartySlate community, is posting on wedding trends and linking out to billhansen.com, where he has his blog, a lot of thought leadership. I just saw this today. Again, these cupcakes with these, are they called succulents? Yes.
Succulents. Obsessed.
I'm obsessed. Like, these look real. And like, you're going to see she just posted, and there's like, again, I posted here just looking, 9 comments on people like, wow, amazing. So guys, This is not just job interviews anymore. This is, people are posting inspiration. I'm not saying, ignore Instagram. Obviously that, Instagram, PartySlate, your website is really a core part of sharing your photo portfolio. All I'm saying is just experiment with this, because there's a lot of additional reach. So back to an organic reach, or sorry, a native post. When you go to make a post, so I'm going right here, like, something about digital day. I can't type in real time, but I know it's going to be a little reaction. So let's say I'm doing something about digital day. You can actually add native content. So you can actually go like this and select an image. I'm not going to do it right now, but you can go to your hard drive. That is native content. I'm going to go
back. Right. Original. It's another word for original content.
Yes. And it's not like linking to original content. Right. It's actually uploading it to the platform. That's the same.
Creating it within it.
Yeah. Same with video. Oh God, Ace, my dog, better not come up here. And then you can also, events are new. And then you can also write an article. Again, and I have PartySlate and Julie here, but you can write an article and publish it natively on LinkedIn. So there's pros and cons of this, but I just want to say, if you do it natively, maybe you do it once a quarter, once a month, you try it out, you will get like so much more views than you will, again, same with Reels and other things that are new, than you would if you just link out to an article like this. But I don't want to overwhelm you that you have to create content in 10 different places. I just want to tell you, experiment, do it once, see what the reaction is, but start by creating an amazing profile page. It is so
even
easy.
If you're Julie, even if you're posting, if you're not going to do a native, like a full article or story in there, if you just want to post about an event that you just did over the weekend, imagery, having an image from an event to will quadruple the number of views that it gets. People like to see images, video, all of that.
Absolutely. So I just wanted to share that because I think people think it's kind of harder than it is to
Yeah.
share content on LinkedIn, and it really isn't. So back to our presentation, you can write an article, you can share images, you can share a video, or you just copy and paste a link, like in a PartySlate profile link, put it in there. Hey, this wedding was amazing. So glad to be back. The world's opening back up again. And then you can tag, your event partners. It's just another thing to try. But again, native posting, do it from time to time, or even easier, put your copy and paste your links. The photo from your link will auto load just like it does for Facebook and other content. It's very, very easy. And so what I think is kind of fun for native posting is, you can do a real time. They also have video that's brand new, LinkedIn video, which I'm going to talk about, behind the scenes setup, interview with a passionate client or creative partners, preview kind of the next big thing. Like, again, that cupcake example, is just an example that I've seen a lot. I've never seen that before, of that artistry on that kind of, with the succulents. So share a moment, share when you're doing a speaking engagement, drop some knowledge. These are the type of things that really are great content for LinkedIn. It is more business focused, but you can see people are sharing inspiration. It is starting. Hashtags are very similar to hashtags on Instagram. It is a discovery tool. Hashtags are newer for LinkedIn, so there's probably less volume and there's less crowded content around hashtags, but it will, just like search engine optimization, make your content more discoverable if people are following hashtags. So you can see here now you can follow hashtags, but you can also use it for a discovery tool. Just put the hashtag in the search item and see what comes up. So again, not saying you have to take over the world. Just think about how you can create a small presence on LinkedIn, have a great profile, and then use hashtags to get discovered. Pamela, did you have anything you wanted to add on that?
I mean, I'll just add that the second half of this, if you're doing a native post like Julie suggests, and you're tagging your event partners, the next step of that is to just drop them a quick note and ask them to share it also. And they'll see that they were tagged, but an overt ask for a share. Ask your employees to share it. So, I mean, I don't think a week goes by at PartySlate that we don't have some internal something like, we have this event, we have this, speaking engagement, like, can everyone share it? And we all jump in and start sharing it on our social media. Absolutely. To further get that message out.
And I think that, again, even the 8 to 10 posts or engagements or comments are 10 times more, again, boosting, have in the algorithms than just a like. And so even like, can't wait for digital day, like even that kind of stuff will get more people to see it. Because again, LinkedIn's trying to determine, is this a good post or is it a bad post? Good posts get engagement. And so therefore they're going to try to have more people see the good post. Okay, so how to grow your digital network. So you aren't a LinkedIn loser. Again, hopefully no one is offended by me saying that. If you have less than 500, that just means that you're not active on LinkedIn. So I have about 10,000. And you might say, well, Julie, do you know all those 10,000 people? I don't. But here's the thing. I use LinkedIn as a publishing tool. So I accept all LinkedIns. I don't necessarily do that on Facebook, but I do it on LinkedIn because I use it as a publishing tool. Someone else asked me this question. You may end up getting spam, but you're going to get spam in your message board on LinkedIn anyway. I, to be honest, ignore largely messaging on LinkedIn. Maybe once a month, I'll go in and check it. I use it for publishing, awareness, and brand building. Venture capitalists are on there, investors are on there, but also people like you and I that have a job, that are looking for information and looking to follow businesses are on LinkedIn for discovery of content and ideas. So sometimes I'll just Google someone and they go to their LinkedIn page, and then all of a sudden I'm looking at the feed, and you just, again, spend 5-10 minutes on LinkedIn. Okay, so I'm going to talk about how you use LinkedIn's really easy to use networking tool to build your network. And you can import your contact list. That will save you a ton of time. If you don't want to do that, you can use the search filters on LinkedIn. You go to your network section, and you can put some, I wasn't going to share my screen, but I think we have time. We have to share it. I just, I have to dig into this. I'm sorry. We're going to geek out one more time. When you go to your network section here, and you go to connections.
We can't see it quite yet.
Okay, so I'm going to wait a second and I'm going to show you.
Yeah, okay, we're good now.
Yeah. Okay, so just so you know how I got here, you go to my network section and you go to my network, and then you can have all filters. So this is just kind of like your own network of people, okay? So this is the people you're already connected with. So I'm going to start over again now that you can see my screen. Can you see my screen, Pamela?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so this is, just to go through, here's the connections. Here's people you work with. Here's your contacts, people that follow you, groups, events, etc. So this is the section where you go to connections. You go here, and then you can go to search by filters. These are all your contacts. But you also, and now I'm forgetting where it is because they moved it, you can also grow your network. And that's the most important thing, is looking for people that are not yet in your network and that you want to grow and you want to meet new people. So now I'm going to go here and I'm hopefully can find it. If not, this is kind of a, I call it a digital day fail. I'm going to have to go back to my slide. Search with filters, locations. Oh, this is what you do. Okay. Okay. Reset. I'm resetting it right here.
Okay.
Okay. So now you see that there's 724 million results. This is what I was looking for. You go to all filters, they just redesigned this, and you say second. So that means they're not connected to you yet. You can say, let's just say greater Chicago area for now. You don't want to say any company names, and you can say add an industry. Let's just put events for now, event services, that's what they have. And then again, you could put names of companies or whatever, but let's just do that. And then show results. So basically, these are people in Chicago in the event industry that I am not connected with because it's the second connection. They did slightly redesign this, Pamela, so I'm going to try to not give me a hard time that I couldn't find it. But
I'm still impressed. So keep going. I've never done this.
This is a really, again, if you're a LinkedIn loser, not a bad thing. You have less than 500 contacts. You will start to see people if you put industry filters in and you add this, whatever. Once you start seeing them, you can simply press connect. Again, it's someone you want to know. You don't want to do spamming. Write a simple note. Hey, it was great seeing you last year at Cater Source. Would love to connect, or just say nothing. You don't have to ask for anything. You write a little note, it's more likely that they'll accept it. Right. So this is an easy way. Add as many filters as you want. So you can make it by city. You can make it even, let's say you're trying to get into Google and you want to do some of their holiday parties. You can do event services. It's a very powerful tool. You can do English, Spanish, whatever language. Again, service categories, events. Even you can search specific people or specific companies. Like I was looking for someone that worked at Houzz, H-O-U-Z-Z, to network with about marketing. That's a similar company to ours. And I put in Houzz and found people there. So again, this is an easy way to start building your network. The easier way even to do that is to upload your contacts, and the people you already know are on LinkedIn, I promise you. And then you can actually link into them, really click, 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 click. Right. So Pamela, hopefully that made sense after my little-
so helpful. No, it's so helpful.
Okay, so again, this is how it used to look. As you can see, it was redesigned, but that same thing I just showed you is basically these filters right here. And it would be good. I should have gone through that ahead of time. There's also a new feature on Discover More. So you can actually find trending groups and profiles and hashtags that may be interesting to you based on who you follow. So I found it interesting, like especially when I'm researching venture capitalists and other people, to actually see who's in this Discover More section. And again, they'll start personalizing content for you based on who you follow, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And then leveraging the power of endorsements, we did a lot of research on testimonials and reviews. We added the testimonials section to PartySlate. It's been really successful. We're getting a ton of testimonials onto the site. Endorsements are slightly different, but they're actually easier to do. I think this is lower priority than just getting your
Yeah.
core profile built out. But if you do have time, you can ask for people to endorse you in event design, in floral, in whatever. It just makes your page fuller. What LinkedIn has said is when you have at least 5 skills, you receive 17 times the profile views. Again, these are stats from the company. So as you build out more in your profile, similar to PartySlate, you get a higher score in the eyes of LinkedIn, and you're going to get more traffic. Other tools to try, and again, let me know if there's any questions, but there are a ton of groups on LinkedIn. I know Facebook has groups. There's a lot of groups. There's Clubhouse. There's a lot of platforms out there. I would just explore your specific area, any associations you're part of, any groups that you think could get you additional exposure. I know a lot of people that use LinkedIn groups and have found new connections there. So I have kind of moved on, I'll be honest, to the Clubhouse scene. I've tried to limit myself.
You are so in the Clubhouse scene.
Yeah, but once or twice a week I'm on Clubhouse. I'm not on Clubhouse every day. I have met a lot of new people and a lot of new personalities in the event industry world that I think could be good for PartySlate, and I think that we could help as well. So explore the group feature on LinkedIn, but that's, again, a second priority after getting your profile page very up to date and full and complete.
Julie, for any of these, for having a complete profile, for doing searches like that, does being a paid member of LinkedIn matter? I know that there's a limit Eugene's pointing out on maybe the number of searches you can do and that kind of thing, but
I'm not a paid member of LinkedIn. Okay. And so I haven't found a limitation. There is a limitation on like in-mail, it's called, like of how many people you can directly contact. And then they went, oh, do you want to contact this person, whatever. So I haven't found a limitation to growing your network because that's something that LinkedIn really wants you to do. But I actually don't know for a fact. LinkedIn, again, is so early on in the content game that they're not gating or really saying like, you could have, 100 more people see this by paying X dollars. They haven't really heavily moved into the monetization of the content area. They make most of their money through job listings, posting, and recruiting, and working with big companies. So that's my understanding.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
So LinkedIn Live Video is new. And so there's a lot of live video services. So there's Facebook Live, there's Insta Live. There's a lot of things you can do. What I've heard about LinkedIn, and I haven't even done this myself, is that when you do LinkedIn Live, you're going to get 24 times more comments and engagement by doing that. So if you're at like a setup for an event, if you're at a conference, you may want to try, add it to your portfolio, like try one new thing a month. You may want to try using LinkedIn Live Video and see if that gets you some engagement. So it's just, again, something to try, not a requirement, but something that's new. And anything that's new, we talked about this in our Instagram session last an hour ago, like Reels are going to give you a lot of boost of engagement for those people brave enough to try new things.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are trying it. The numbers of people doing those live streams on LinkedIn is just a steady up and to the right.
Awesome. So yeah, I think that when I put this together last, like the LinkedIn 1.0, it had just been introduced. And so, there is that early adoption curve. And again, you'll be rewarded for early adoption. But if you think about still a small percentage of the people are posting on LinkedIn, and maybe it's not 1%, maybe it's up to 5% now. I don't know, Pamela, you're full of statistics. I don't know if you know that.
I know. Well, I had to bring something for my half because I'm not a super user like you are.
Okay. Well, you're bringing a lot of value, but I will get back to you guys on what percentage post now, but it's still relatively low compared to people that post on Instagram. So if you become a content creator even once a month on LinkedIn, it might be an additional thing to add, even if it's just a copy and paste of an article URL with a couple sentences. It might be something to boost your exposure. And I'm seeing more and more event professionals do just that.
We do have a note here that only members who've received approval can become a LinkedIn Live broadcaster. So just do a little research. I'm not sure if it's available to everyone. And one quick question, because you brought up Clubhouse, is it only for iPhone still?
Yes, it's coming soon. I just read an article.
Bummer.
Android, I think Android will be June, July. But you'd think after they raised all this money that they could do it a little faster. Just like I tell our product, hey, can't we do this a little faster? Well, it takes time to build a whole new platform, especially high velocity, a lot of users. So that is coming out soon. So yeah, the Q&A, I'm sorry, maybe we should amplify it through Zoom. No, just kidding, Kylie. I'm not adding a new thing. It's only for iPhone users, but we promise to make all of our recordings from Digital Day available in addition to all our tools. So you will not, if you're Android, I'm sorry, you can't join us on Clubhouse at the end of the day. So finally, I'm going to go through a LinkedIn action plan, and then I'll take any questions. Number one, again, if you do one thing, I know right now you have your calendar in front of you. Go in your calendar over the next month, put in a 1 hour period that says update LinkedIn profile. That's all you have to do. Make sure you have PartySlate every single month to update your PartySlate profile, but 1 hour for LinkedIn to make sure that it reflects how great you are as a person and as a business. And even if you're newer in the industry, they say kind of fake it till you make it. You have a story to tell why you got in the industry. You have some experience. I am confident you can find enough things to have a website and to have a really great LinkedIn profile page. So don't forget, people forget to do the professional headline. That's like if I see an elevator, that just a quick little second, and then your about section. I really like it in the first person, and LinkedIn kind of experts recommend writing it in the first person versus third person. Number two, make strategic connections to build your brand. So import your contact list. If you're overwhelmed by importing, like literally it's so easy to do a comma separated file or a tab file. I think LinkedIn is even integrated with some systems that makes it really easy. So if you import, you don't even remember that thing I got lost in during my demo. You don't even have to do that. If you have your contact, you can just import it, and you're not going to spam those people. It's not going to automatically connect you with those people once you import it. It's still going to ask you who you want to connect with. So don't worry, it's going to be some auto LinkedIn request.
Right. But it gives you a big head start.
It gives you a head start. Definitely gives you a head start. Yes. And then I do think try using the LinkedIn networking tool. You go to the My Network section. Again, this is a little tip that I give everyone. Put not first connections, those are people you're already connected with, but put second connection. And the second connection means, Pamela, anyone you're connected with on LinkedIn will show up as someone that I might want to. And there's a very likely chance that someone you're connected with, I may know as well. That's also a good shortcut. So it's not just random LinkedIn, introduce me to people. It's people that are second degree away from me. And then also maybe in the event industry.
Right. It's a friend of a friend.
Friend of a friend. Think like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon for us older people. Like everyone on LinkedIn is probably 6 degrees away from each other. It's not.
We know everyone.
Yeah. It's hard to get that. But once you connect with a core group of people, you'll see the flywheel moving on LinkedIn, and you'll link in with more and more people. Okay. The last one is, and this is only after you have your 1 hour in your calendar for your profile update, you get up to 500 connections, which shouldn't be that hard. And I have a friend who's in a different industry who is potentially thinking about another job or whatever. I'm like, you got to get your LinkedIn profile updated for about a month. And she reported back to me that it is now 500 plus, and she's got it up to date. So very proud of her. The last thing is, start posting content to become an authority. We talked about our brand session, Pamela, earlier, about what are the areas of content that you want to become known for, or that you have your superpowers. So I like to post content about female tech founders or female founders. I like to be an industry speaker and educator. I obviously like to promote PartySlate and things that we're doing. What are those areas of content that you want to be known for? And again, that ties through to Instagram and everything else. So once you have a content strategy, layering on LinkedIn, not that much additional work.
I'm just going to put in a plug here and say, if you're not entirely sure what those things are for you, our next session right after this one is on identifying your differentiators and using them for content.
Good point. Yes, I should have said that earlier, that this last session You may in your head know what your differentiators are, but to actually write down, a one-page brand strategy on what those differentiators are is going to help you feel more confident. Like, I am going to start posting a lot on this particular topic, whether it's trends, whether it's floral, whatever it is. That's the thing that's going to help you stand out and break out. So consider native posts, which mean if start with just links, because that's the easiest, and you want to drive people to your website or your PartySlate profile, whatever it is. But then consider maybe once a quarter, once a month, posting native content right into LinkedIn. And you can do that on Facebook as well. Okay, so we are coming to a conclusion. How we can help. I know many people like, oh, how do you have the time to help look their website, LinkedIn? I can do it in 3 minutes. It's really easy for me. I am happy to look at your LinkedIn profile. All I would ask is before you send it to me, you kind of follow that 1 hour of homework. You actually, take an attempt to add the professional headline, add the about section, add a little bit in your experience. Make sure you have a professional, beautiful cover photo and headshot. And please, you can send it to me. You can DM PartySlate. You can send it to me, Julie at PartySlate.com. I will take a look at it. It'll take me 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and I'm happy to give you feedback. Also, just like LinkedIn profiles are great for brand building, PartySlate profiles are, I know we're biased, but the single best way to share your videos and photos, not replacing Instagram, not replacing your website, but a full portfolio view. And I actually, sorry, do I have time? Oh, I do have time. I'm going to
time.
5 more minutes, and I'm going to show you some of the LinkedIn mindset that we took to, I'm going to go window, to actually think through our strategy for the PartySlate profile. So Pamela, tell me when you can see my screen.
I will.
Okay.
I will. While we're waiting for it to come up, I'll add on, like, Julie definitely knows LinkedIn from a marketing perspective. Okay, we're there. But if you need help wordsmithing for your about or your, I'm definitely dug into the search engine optimization. So I'm happy to help with the wording of things.
Absolutely. So when you think about PartySlate, as opposed to LinkedIn, LinkedIn is all about the person, right? So it's you, it's your headshot, it's your background, it's your experience. PartySlate is all about the business profile. So this is the collective work, whether you as a single business owner or a 50-person company or the Four Seasons. This is a Be Floral Event Design and Production is a really beautiful, talented decor company out of New York. And you can see the multiple cover photos. That is also great content. So this is creating weighty, rich content, just similar to LinkedIn, but in the PartySlate format. Pamela and her team write an insight. PartySlate Insight is almost like a testimonial. You have this about section here. We've also added, and Pamela, can you still see my screen?
I can. You're good.
Okay. We've added this promotion section where you can actually add, hey, there's new offers, or there's a special, or we're just featured in Vogue, or we're just in an article. This is something during the pandemic that people found really helpful that we've added. Then you have this amazing welcome video, which is a great way to get people to know you as a brand or the work that you do. And then for us, where LinkedIn is more about your experience and the dates and all of that, this is about your portfolio. And you can see Be Floral Event Design and Production has 47 events. And what we've tried to do is, let's say someone wants to hire you for an amazing dinner party, you can really quickly click on dinner party and actually copy and paste this URL, the website address that has dinner party in it, and send it to them. And so this is another way that we're trying to make content that's not only a sales tool, but also good for the search engines and easy to find. The videos also are very highly engaged with. We also know that Google likes engaged people that are engaged with their content. It shows that it's high quality. So when people play a video on your profile page, that is also sending a signal to Google that it's a high engagement. And then our version of kind of the LinkedIn component of people is just a simple, meet the team section. And this is another, again, premium feature that we just rolled out that helps with SEO, but just gives you that extra push like, oh, I definitely could see myself working with these people and get to know their personalities. Also, with a nod to LinkedIn, you can have your exposed network here. So on LinkedIn, I can see, hey, Pamela, you and I have 150 overlapping contacts, or we have 2 overlapping contacts. It's nice for consumers, people planning events, to see all the venues you've worked with, all the planners you've worked with, the photographers, and then also know that your name will show up on their profile page as they've found you. So I just wanted to show there are some similarities, but the main purpose and vision for our profile page is to be a full portfolio sharing tool for what we call your marketing gold, which are your professional photos and videos. We hope it saves you time. We know that you can't call your developer every time you want to post something new on your website or get someone on your team to do it. So put that 1 or 2 photos on Instagram, but put the full picture of that event on your PartySlate profile. Okay, so I'm going to unshare my screen, and we are going to do a wrap up because I know we have one more session of the day before Clubhouse. Yes. I know I talked about we can help you build a free profile page. We can do your review. Our next session actually really can help you with your content marketing and with your Instagram and with your LinkedIn, with PartySlate, really leaning in and thinking strategically about what your brand differentiators are. For people who are planning a party for the first time, or even if they've planned events, a corporate planner, they're always trying to make decisions and trade-offs on who they want to work with. And you don't want price to be your only differentiator. It's really hard to build a high margin, scalable business if that's your only differentiator. So really thinking through what your differentiators are and how to identify those differentiators is what we are going to be talking about next. Pamela, any other final thoughts or any other questions we have from the group?
No, I think we're good. We have a few minutes. You guys can run and get a cup of coffee or whatever you need before our last session of the day, but don't miss it. We've got a great panel.
Pamela, can you
see? I love it.
This is my
Jordan
Con. This is my bling PartySlate water bottle. Everyone should have something like this right at their desk. So when you're at Digital Day. So thank you guys for hanging in there during Geeking Out with LinkedIn. If I leave you with kind of final thoughts, you don't have to do anything I said except for put an hour in your calendar to make sure your profile represents how great you are as a person. If that's all you do, I think it will help build your brand. So thank you guys. Go grab maybe a cocktail. I don't know, it's getting later.
Yeah, I guess it's that time of day.
Grab a coffee, and we will be back in 9 minutes to talk about your brand differentiators, and then we will wrap up the day on Clubhouse. So thank you, everyone.
Awesome. Thanks so much.